So what are you responsible for? As business managers, this is the CIA triangle, or also referred to as the CIA triad. That is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. You are responsible for the information that you've been granted access to or been asked to keep safe, to make sure that it remains confidential, that the integrity is there, and that it's available. Think of your health records for a moment. Imagine at your doctor's office. Do you want just anybody looking at those files? No. Do you want anyone just changing those files around? The integrity? No. And do you want them available if you're going in for surgery? Yes. Now in the government, let's say that you work for tax and finance. You're responsible as perhaps a business manager to maintain the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability of the data. As a constituent, I assume you're doing this. As a business manager, you may be identified as an information owner, and you are responsible for this. Now, I had mentioned in the very beginning of the session, I'm going to basically focus on 5 components of the information security policy. So far, the first one is each agency is responsible for implementing their own security policy based upon your business need and your legal requirements. That's first. Okay, because the New York State Information Security Policy is a great baseline, but your needs probably require that it needs to be a little bit more stringent in certain areas. Each agency is responsible for designating an information security officer. What are their roles? They will provide direction and leadership to your agency and assist you in implementing security policies, standards, and education and awareness programs for information security. They also are a resource to you, and if there's ever an incident, information security incident, you need to report it to your information security officer. You need a point person in your agency that focuses on information security. And they, with your IT group, and you as business managers together, because you know your business need, can make sure that your information is secure. So what is your role? We ask that you adhere to policy, that you protect the information you've been entrusted with, that you understand the risks and the ramifications, and to be a security role model, and that you support your staff. This next series of slides, I'm going to talk about the baseline knowledge for business managers. The areas of threats and vulnerabilities and risk include people, your staff, you and your staff, disregarding processes, disregarding policies, disregarding controls, or just not being aware. Access. You may be responsible for granting access rights to people for certain systems. There's a lot of responsibility in that. And then the last piece is technology. First, people. We ask that there's a full cooperation for policies, procedures, controls put in place. What does that mean? Think about this. Let's say within your organization, your help desk or your IT group or whoever's responsible for it has asked, please, when you hire someone, send a password request form to the help desk a week in advance so we can make sure that they have a password. Well, lo and behold, oops, you forgot. The person shows up on day one. What do you do? What do you want to do? You want to just sign them in as you, don't you? Or say, well, just use this PC for a little while. It's going to take a week before they can get anything done. No. So you need to, as business managers, understand that controls are put in place for a reason. Next, help your staff. Secure work areas. Implement a clear screen policy. Ask that they lock the doors, they lock the offices. It may sound very basic to you, but it's not. Provide file cabinets with locks for them. Provide shredders. Human, lack of awareness, you need to send your staff to training. I know everybody's busy, everybody's overworked. I hope already I've made you more aware. Give your staff that. Understand that awareness is key. Also, there's two kinds of activity that can occur that damages data. There's intentional and unintentional. Intentional is I have a malicious intent and I'm going to destroy data. That's what I want to do today. Then there's unintentional. For instance, what's your name? Hi, Barry. Barry hires me, and I'm going to do some database entry for Barry. And he's like, okay, Kim, sit right down here. And he gives me a bunch of paper that I have to input. But he doesn't give me any training. So I sit down. I get in. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm hitting a bunch of keys, and I panic, and I close out. What did I just do? Maybe change a bunch of fields? Okay, so I didn't really mean to do it. I just did it. And last, I talked a little bit about social engineering, the conscious manipulation of another person, and dumpster diving. Baseline knowledge, access. In Barry's case, when he granted me access into that database, hopefully he didn't just sign himself in and then let me use his PC, but he granted me access. What kind of access should Barry have granted me? Entry? Should I be able to delete records? Should I be able to look at all the records? Maybe just add new records? Think of that. Talk to your IT group. You know your business need. Look, we need someone to enter data. We don't want to affect this information. You need to take a proactive role. Next, understand the risks associated with improper or disregarded processes. Right? Your help desk asks you to please go through this process or use these controls. You need to. And understand the importance of strong passwords. They're the first level of defense. It's not user awareness training. I'm not going to go through, this is what a strong password is, this is a weak password. That's user awareness level. But as business managers, you have to set the example. Don't ask your staff, please, to list all of the passwords in the agency. Please don't put your passwords in a WordPerfect or Word document called passwords on your PC. First place I'd look. How about onto your mouse pad or taped or stuck to your monitor? So those are things I know. Talk to your staff. I know we have a lot of passwords. They are the front door into your systems. They need some respect. Information owners. The third thing in the policy I said that I was going to discuss. Each agency is responsible for identifying information owners. How many information owners do I have? A gentleman back there. What are you responsible for? Health insurance? Anybody else? No, you're frightened. You're not going to respond. Okay. What that means is he is responsible for, probably, determining who has access to the information, what kinds of access those people should have, read access, delete access, work with IT if you don't really know what the system will allow, but think about it. It's a business process. He's also responsible for determining what level of confidentiality should be applied to that information. Is it public? Is it private? Is it confidential? Nobody should ever see it. Also, he's responsible for working with his EISO and his IT group to determine the value of that information. Okay, frightening. How much is it worth? And how long could we go without having access to it? Now think about for a moment, everyone, close your eyes, think of any systems that you access. Could you go without it for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for a day, for a week, for a month, if there was a disaster? That's the role. Now, why was he asked? He's asking that himself. Why was he asked to be the information owner? Because as a business manager, you know what the application should be doing. And you probably know the regulations associated with the application. Now your IT group, they manage the tools. Your information security officer will work with you on the risks. Okay, so again, some business managers will be asked to be information owners. For the next 6 or 7 minutes, I have a video for you. This was produced by the staff at CSIC and it features many fellow New York State employees. This is a representation of some issues associated with people and access.
Well, of course it's not true. But this article says that our agency records are referenced by an anonymous source. How could this have happened?
I don't know how it happened. There's only one person on my staff that has access to change those records. And I believe her when she said she had nothing to do with it.
I've been investigating this, and it looks like an inside job. Let me walk you through what I think happened.
Good morning, Connie.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. How's your weekend?
Had a great weekend. How about you?
Oh, a little bit too exciting.
Oh, yeah?
I helped a friend move, and his truck broke down.
You're kidding.
What a mess.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, listen, we've got that training today. We've got to figure out what to do about coverage while we're away. Why don't you grab a donut, get your coffee, and let's go in the office. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
I talked to administration yesterday about trying to get some coverage for us today. They're sending Judy to help us out.
Oh.
Yeah. So listen, is there anything we absolutely have to have done before we get back?
Well, I have some health forms that have to be entered in today, and that's easy. She just needs, you know, the ID, the social security number, name, that sort of stuff, and she can handle that, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So you can show Judy how to sign on and do what she has to do?
Sure, I'll give her my password.
Great. Gary, anything you need to get done?
Nope. I'm all set.
Okay, good. Hey, listen, I have to tell you something. Today is Judy's last day with the agency.
Kidding?
Yeah. I've been told because she's unhappy about being passed over for promotion. I've also heard it's because she's late all the time. So I think we better plan for her to be late again today. So maybe we should come up with something in case she is.
Well, we should stay as long as we can, but if she is late, we can just kind of write her a note and leave her a note for that, and then prop the door open, and, you know, she can do what she has to do.
Okay. Can you take care of that?
Sure.
Good. Okay.
Judy, thanks for covering for us. We waited as long as we could, but had to leave. Please enter health forms onto the system. Forms, file names, and password are on my desk. Yeah, it's just like them to leave me their work. Password is Connie? Oh, that's clever. Like I couldn't have figured out that one. Well, what do we have here? I didn't know you had access to executives' records. So you think you're too good to wait for me, Connie? Well, it's payback time. I'm going to help you update your files. That's good. But I should share it with someone. Onto the web. Yes. News desk at daily exposure. Subject: high-ranking official fails drug test. That's good. Send. I can just see it now. Sir, can you tell me why you failed the drug test? Is it true you have long-term use of recreational drugs? That's good. Oh, Chad left his machine on. Good. Ooh. Making a career change, Chad? Very interesting. Well, let me help you burn some bridges. Headhunters are us. Subject: Accepted. Other offer. Dear Sir, I've accepted a more generous offer from another firm. And quite frankly, I wasn't that impressed with your organization. Have a nice day. Chad. There you go, Chad. Send that right off. I wouldn't want to leave this without a password protection. Why don't I just give you a little password here, Chad? There you go. All set. Health forms, done. Chad, Connie, and Gary. Finished work. Waited as long as I could, but had to leave. Hope you learned a lot at your training. Judy.
I realize that his staff didn't intend for this to happen, but it did, and they need to fix it. I want to make absolutely certain that this doesn't occur again. Can we prosecute?
Well, the state police are investigating this. They've asked for copies of our audit trails and logs. You know, the machines down there were pretty messed up. A password was changed. Files were altered. Some of our staff couldn't even sign on. It's rare that such a series of small incidents would come together in such a big way.